Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. We'll just go right.
You know what? It's that time of the year. We're getting ready for Rosh Hashanah. It's right around the corner. And I can't think of a better way to celebrate the last Shabbos of the year, because that's what this is. Did you know that, Ken or Emma? The last Shabbat of 5777, than to be with my Stephen Wise Temple community. And so what I want you to do is Cantor Emma is going to teach us a little nigun, and it's going to come back later in the service. And when it comes back, you'll think, I know that, and it'll be because of what happens right now. So Cantor, how's the melody go?
Goes like this, just on ooh. Ooh, try that. Ooh, beautiful. Ooh, try that. Ooh, now you pretty much know it. Ooh, second ending. Ooh, ooh, whole thing together. Ooh. Just your voices. Now it feels like Shabbat.
Feels fantastic. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
On page 24, words of Shalom Aleichem. Peace unto you, peace for all of us, peace for our community, peace for the world. Let's lift our voices in song as we begin to welcome Shabbat.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharei, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Baruch Hu, Barechuni l'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem l'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק
Page 20, Lecha Dodi, our sages imagined Shabbat as this intimate moment where the Jewish people and God come together, sacred time coming together in this sacred relationship. And Lecha Dodi has all of this imagery of that love affair between the Jewish people and God, and the way Shabbat is this moment in time where we celebrate that. Let's lift our voices with these words of Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Shamor v'zachor, b'dibur echad, ishmiyanu el ha-meyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'l'tiferet v'l'tehila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikerev nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Bo'ui v'shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Bo'ui chala, bo'ui chala. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. I tell you, from up here, the energy when you guys are singing with us is so different. And you're going to be hearing a lot of this guy talking over the next couple weeks.
Too much.
Such a blessing. And you're going to be hearing a lot of me singing over the next couple of weeks.
That's okay, Yoshi. We like you.
I agree.
And in the coming weeks, we're going to be spending a lot of time together, reflecting on the big existential questions of life and of humanity. You know, where have we gone this year? Where have we been able to stay true to all of our values? And where are the places that we as individuals have missed the mark? And what kind of family, what kind of community of Jews, what kind of human beings do we want to be in the year to come in 5778? One of my favorite poets, Alice Parker, says that singing is the most companionable of all acts. Singing is the most companionable of all acts. And this time of year when we stand trembling before God, sometimes it feels like we're alone. And when it comes down to it, we do meet our Maker and we do stand before God in judgment as individuals. But when we lift our voices together, we're reminded that we really don't stand alone, that we stand together in community. So it means so much to me as your cantor to hear your voices. And I hope that over the next couple of weeks, in those moments where you feel lonely or you may feel distant from God or maybe even from yourself, that you remember that you stand in community. We stand together now in our call to prayer, Baruch Hu, page 28. Ya Elai, Elai, Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, Elai, Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai. וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. This prayer expressing God's love for the Jewish people and the gift of that love, the gift of learning, the gift of Torah, page 32.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpat. ושיננתם לבניך,
and you shall teach them to your children,
ודיברת בעם,
and you shall speak of them
בשבתך בביתך,
when you are at home
ובלכתך
and
בדרך,
when you are away,
ובשוכבך ובקומך,
when you lie down and when you rise up.
וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And these words which I command you this day shall be on your heart, shall be on your heart, your heart.
You just want to sigh. Just a sigh. Page 41. מלכותך ראו פניך, וכהים לפני משה. מלכותך ראו פניך, וכהים לפני ומרים. זה לי, אנו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם לעולם באל. יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לי. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לי, יאללה לי 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 לי. Page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai parei sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim.
us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right.
Take a moment, if you will, to hold in your hearts and thoughts feelings for one who you love who might be ill, thoughts for refuah shlema, complete recovery. And when you speak to them next, let them know that in this place, with the spirit of fullness, of shlema, of wholeness and peace, you sang these words of healing. Page 253. It's the month of Elul. It's coming to a close, and the holidays are fast approaching. And it's the task of Elul, it's our task during Elul, to get ourselves ready for the work of the holy days, the work of Teshuvah. I want to tell you a story and talk about a prayer that is carried throughout the holidays. It's the Avinu Malkeinu. I put a little snippet of it in your handout. You can take a look at it. Lynn Twist wrote the book, The Soul of Money. And in putting that book together, she was able to get an audience with Mother Teresa in Calcutta, India. And so she went to Calcutta and she was looking forward to this interview, and she sat in the Mother Superior's small little alcove where she greeted people, the tiny woman in her blue and white robes. And they were having an intimate interview, and all of a sudden from down the hall, they heard this disturbance. bells ringing, jingling, jangling as these people seem to be walking down. All of a sudden, busting into the room where Lynn and the mother were having this interesting conversation was this rather portly Indian couple, arrayed in all their finery. They had just had an audience with the mother, and they were coming back, and they said, "We forgot to take a picture." And they walked over to Mother Teresa, and they hoisted this little lady, this big man, hoisted Mother Teresa out of the chair and put them between them. And Mother Teresa was standing, it appears, in a way that wasn't appropriate for them to take their picture. And so they cocked their head to one side, and they handed the camera to Lynn to take the picture. And they said, "Take our picture, take our picture." So in this silence, all of a sudden it was shattered by this loud, rude, arrogant, clearly wealthy couple. And Mother Teresa just went along with them. And they took the picture, Lynn took the picture, gave the camera back. And as Lynn was about to open her mouth to rebuke this couple, Mother Teresa said, "Shh." And the couple left. And Mother Teresa sat down in the chair. And she motioned for Lynn to sit down in the chair. And she said, "Now where were we?" And walking home, Lynn Twist writes that she was overcome with the power of Mother Teresa's humility. That here was this woman who is world famous, this woman who could have said to this couple, "I don't have time for you now, I'm being interviewed," or rebuked them for being rude. And instead of doing any of those things, she let them do what they needed to do, and she went back to her life. This is what we need to feel during the holidays. No, not the Indian couple. Mother Teresa. We need to find within ourselves the power to recognize the deepest place for our humility, the deepest place to know that we need to cast off our arrogance. And that's what Avinu Malkeinu does. It puts us before God. It puts us in humility. It reminds us of how small we are in the cycle of all things. And it challenges our assumptions, and it says to us, are you as righteous as you think you are? It challenges the choices we make every day. It says, are we choosing the paths of goodness and virtue as often as we think we are? And it says to us, be humbled. Sit in that chair. Sit low in that chair. And recognize that if we're going to make the changes we need to make to face the days ahead, we need to stand humbled before God, before each other, and most importantly, before ourselves. So I invite you to begin the task of entering these holy days on these last days of Elul by joining in quiet prayer, silent prayer, a reminder of our own humbleness before God. The Amidah begins on page 48 and continues through to page 62. We say the prayer standing. When you're finished, you may be seated.
Huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teething shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. When we look in their eyes, will we not realize and see that we're all connected? It's our sacred roar, every soul must be protected. Justice and love. Open up and let it in. Let them in. Open up in love. In justice and love. Open up and let it in. Let them in.
That's a prayer for our country. We'll also offer a prayer for Medinat Yisrael, page 259. Avinu Shebashamayim.
Avinu Shebashamayim, Zur Yisrael v'goalo, Baruch Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulatenu.
Together, O Heavenly One,
Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love.
Spread over it the canopy of your peace.
Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. Avinu Shebashamayim,
tonight we wanted to share several teachings with you. Cantor Emma helped us understand how music can help us feel connected, part of our community. And Rabbi Stern helped us understand Avinu Malkeinu and that image of God as a parent and what it means to think about humility as we enter this new year. I want to share a short teaching that's inspired by this week's Torah portion. Tomorrow we read Parashat Nitzavim, which is a Torah portion that we love so much that we bring it back on Yom Kippur. So if you pay careful attention tomorrow in synagogue, and at 10 o'clock we have our Shabbat morning service right here at Stephen Wise. Right before that, there's Torah study at 9 o'clock. You can come and enjoy that. But if you come and you listen to the Torah reading, you'll hear this incredible verse that appears right at the beginning, and I want to connect it to a well-known aphorism that we've heard many times in our lives, that showing up is 80% of life. Have you ever heard that? And sometimes it's said that showing up is 80% of success in life. You just show up, you're 80% of the way there. Do you know who that's attributed to, by the way? It's Mother Teresa. That's true. No, it's Woody Allen, actually. Right? Not Mother Teresa at all, actually. Showing up is 80% of life. And this week's Torah portion actually asks us all to show up. It might get us 80% of the way there, but according to Parashat Nitzavim, 100% of us have to show up in order to get us any of the way there. And the Parsha begins, Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem Lifnei Adonai Elohechem. You stand today, Moses is speaking to the Israelite people, Kulchem, all of you. And then, just in case we didn't know that all of you meant everybody, it says the men and the women and the children, and the Midrash says even the babies who were yet born, babies in their mother's uterus, those children were there too. And in fact, it goes on to say, and this is the verse I want to focus on, Ki et asher yeshno po imanu omed hayom lifnei Adonai ve'et asher eno po imanu hayom. It says, all of those who are with us today stand before God. And then it says, and those who aren't with us today stand before God as well. And Rashi, the great medieval commentator, he says this refers to all the generations of Israel, the generations who came before Moses, going back all the way to Abraham and Sarah, all those who were in Egypt over that 400-year period, and then all the generations going forward in time, all the way up to the present generation and going beyond that. I want to share another midrash that talks about showing up and how important it is, and I brought a visual aid, because why not? It'll actually help you understand it. So those of you who read Hebrew, these are 4 words. Is it big enough that you can almost see it, kind of? Yeah, I could have gotten to a poster size. It says, et asher yeshno po. That means all those who are here stand before God today. And then I said, the verse continues, and all those who aren't here stand before God today. And our sages are so intoxicated by these texts that they love to make meaning of every word, of every possibility. Sometimes they use gematria. They count up what each letter symbolizes, and they do this kind of rabbinic math. It's not real math, I'll be honest with you, but it's very creative and playful. And sometimes they'll do other things. So this is what one of our sages did. They say, et asher yeshno po. Here's a second visual aid. Wait for it, very exciting. They cross out, you can't read that, they cross out everything but the last letter. Do you see that? Everything but the last letter is crossed out. And if you cross out everything but the last letter, you get a tav, a resh, a vav, and a hey. Okay, a tav, a resh, a vav, and a hey. Yeah, and if you just slightly reorganize it, you get, you're right, Torah. You should get a prize of some sort. Susan, will you give her a glass of wine after services or something? Right. So if you take et asher yeshno po, the last letter of those 4 words, it spells out Torah. So it's playful and it's creative. But what's the message? The message is, it's not enough to just show up. Whoever said, could have been Mother Teresa, maybe it was that funny Jewish fella who makes us uncomfortable sometimes. It's Rabbi Stern. I know what you think. It's not Rabbi Stern. You are funny and wonderful. You don't make us feel uncomfortable. Whomever it was who said it, that's not really true from the perspective of our Torah portion. It's not, or at least this midrash on it, it's not enough to just show up. You have to show up with the right intention, with the right purpose, and that is Torah. Torah's got to be the purpose. If you all gather together, the whole community gets together for some devious purpose, that's not a good thing. If we all got together just to get together and there was no higher purpose, that would be lovely, but it wouldn't really lift us up and take us forward into the world. The reason we gather together, and this is the intention for these holy days that we're about to celebrate, starting with Rosh Hashanah next week, the reason we come together is for the highest purpose of all, to bring Torah into the world, the highest values of our people, the highest teachings, the wisdom of 3,000 years that points us towards meaning and towards goodness. That's what it's all about. And so my hope for all of us is that our gathering together, you're the vanguard here on the last Shabbat of 5777. When we gather together on Rosh Hashanah, there will be a lot more of us coming together, gathering together, hopefully kulanu, everybody together, but et asher yeshno po, let's remember why we're coming together. We're coming together because of the values that we care most deeply about and because of the direction that those values point us in towards goodness, towards making meaning and changing the world so we can make ourselves better and so we can make our world better. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. We're going to conclude with Kiddush, and I'd like to invite Ariela Zweiback to come forward. I want to ask if anybody is celebrating something good this week. In a moment, after Kiddush, we'll have the opportunity for Kaddish, and we'll think about loss. But it's important for us to remember that life includes moments of exaltation as well as moments of loss. And sometimes in the same day, in the same week, in the same period of our life, we experience those high points and the low points. So does anyone have a birthday today, maybe, or this week? Statistically improbable if there is no birthdays in this entire week. Okay, how about an anniversary maybe? Somebody's celebrating an anniversary.
Last week.
You had one last week? Mazel tov to Rabbi Stern. Any other anniversaries?
32.
Good for her.
You know what they say? The first 32?
Yes, Shirley. Will you, Phil and Shirley, will you stand up, please, if you can? Please stand up, okay? Any other, maybe some good thing? Is there a bar bat mitzvah coming up? Anyone here celebrating bar bat mitzvah? A new job, maybe. Let's see, anyone have a birthday over the last year? You did? Okay. Well, let's all stand up. And let's magnify the joyous moments of our life with words of Kiddush. You can find it on page 5. And Kiddush is going to be led by Ariela tonight.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzav banu, b'shabbat kodsho, v'ahavah u'ratzon yitchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tefillah, v'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu b'charta, v'yotanu kidasha, im kol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodecha, v'ahavah u'ratzon, ilhatanu, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashamat. Amen. Page 282. Aleinu l'shamayat,
number of board members here this evening. It's good to see. Raise your hand if you're a member of the Stephen Wise Board of Directors. It's good to see. A bunch of. It's Elul, you're getting your points in, I guess, huh? Good to see you. Shelley, you're going to be the one, though, to share some of the words. What's that? Sure.
First, I want to thank our rabbis and Cantor Emma for this so deeply inspiring and soulful and soul-searching service. Rabbi Yoshi is. It really spoke to me, so thank you all for it. And to your daughter, as many of you know, I chair a project here at the temple called Homes for Heroes, where we buy things for veterans who have been homeless who get moved into housing. And unfortunately, not enough housing, and unfortunately, there's almost 6,000 homeless veterans in the streets of LA, many of them women, many of them with children, living in cars or just in the streets. And over the past year, we have done a lot. They've asked us for beds, and we've been able to get beds and all the bedding, and we've gotten refrigerators, microwaves, and we did more than 100 welcome baskets. And this year, the 5th grade in the school has committed to do the welcome baskets, and we've been asked again to get beds and bedding and refrigerators and microwaves. And ladies and gentlemen, members of Stephen Wise, friends, guests, these are our heroes. Because of these people, we live free in this country. Because of our soldiers, men and women, who have gone to every hellhole, every place on earth to protect us, we live here. I just want to tell you a story. This week, as some of you know, I volunteer at the VA twice a week. And this week on Wednesday, I met an 89-year-old World War II Jewish veteran who was going to be homeless. And I ran throughout the entire hospital. I went to every department. And fortunately, I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. And today, he was moved into a nursing home. I swear to you, I was ready to take him in. I could not stand the fact that a World War II veteran was going to be homeless. So please, when you get your newsletters and it says to help us, when you get the link, please help us. And another thing, if you have any questions about the temple, there are a lot of people here that I don't know, and we'd like to answer any questions you have about this wonderful temple. And I look forward to seeing you all at the high holiday services.
And the veterans couldn't have a better advocate than Shelley. And when she says we did that, she means members of the Stephen Wise community. So keep it up. Keep up the good work. I'd just like to say that I feel all warm and fuzzy after this evening's service. I was touched. I laughed. I learned something. And if you did that also, I think you should commit to coming back every Friday night, not just showing up, as Rabbi Yoshi said, but showing up with someone else so that we can become at least 80% and approaching 100%. So thank you so much for being here. Welcome to any guest, and we're available if you have questions, as Shelley said. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
With leaders that have passion like that, bodes well for us. One of the final melodies of the High Holiday cycle is Pitchu Li Sha'arei Tzedek, and it's a request to open the doors, the gates of righteousness. And what I think Shelley and Ginny's words remind us of is that the way that we best open the gates of righteousness is by opening our hearts and being righteous ourselves. And there's no better time than this time of the year, our tradition tells us, to open our hearts to those who need our support and our help. So when you stand for an Elah at the end of Yom Kippur and you sing those words, Pitchu Li Sha'arei Tzedek, open for me the doors of righteousness, you'll know that one of the ways that you've both humbled yourselves and reached out beyond yourself is by sending out whatever you can to support those in our world who need you. Our Kaddish, the Kaddish prayer is on page 294. We are a place that inspires, that celebrates with you, that comforts you, that embraces you, that teaches you, that lives our lives alongside of you. And so we recognize that at moments such as these, when you are recalling the lives of loved ones, it's important that we stand with you. So I'd like to invite those who have lost someone in the last 30 days to rise, please, so we may recognize you. And if you've lost a loved one in the past year, please rise.